Welcome back to the Frizz and the Grizz Podcast with your hosts, Trudeau and D.
Hello and welcome back to Frizz and the Grizz. It is Tuesday, October 3rd. It's your boy Trudeau. We have a good show in store for you today. Lots of NFL. We're going to talk a little college football and, of course, the big NBA trade of Dame Lillard. But first, D, what's up, my dude?
Ah, man, everything is everything over here. I like the intro. All right. I see that you put a little work into it.
You know, I think I realized that we start the podcast. If you were new, if you've never seen the show before, right, and you just hear us going off about random shit like ice cream flavors right off the jump, and there's no introduction of what we're talking about, you might leave. So, like, let's give the people a little teaser of what's in store for them today.
I like it. Sets the tone, sets the table as to like all the topics that we're going to go over. We spend, a good 15, 20 minutes talking about everything pre-show. And like you said, we come in and we start talking about appetizers at a restaurant. So it makes sense to let the listeners know what we'll be talking about, the watchers, the viewers, either today or tomorrow. I like it. Good stuff with that.
Yeah, we talk sports, but we like to have some fun. And thank you all for joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and also on podcast. If you're listening tomorrow, good show today. Like I said, D, I know you had a good weekend. You're up here in the north. I actually went to my first fair, like carnival fair, Topsfield Fair up in North Shore, Massachusetts. Pretty solid. Are you a fair person, first of all?
I'm not a go on rides fair carnival person, but I enjoy the food at fair and carnivals. So, and yes, I actually worked the Topsfield Fair when I worked at Power.
Really?
I was a vendor in one of those barns. I was selling home improvement shit. So oddly enough, if you walked into the wrong booth, a wrong like barn, there's people like trying to sell you stuff. I was there.
Okay, this is perfect because you've been there. So like this is a fair, like I'm talking like not a carnival, but a fair with like horses, cows, chicken, pigs, like your old country fair. Man, I want to talk about the food, and you hit it right on the nail right on that, because like there are hundreds of food vendors, and I want to know what is the weirdest fried thing you've ever eaten, because I had myself some fried Oreos and some fried Reese's at the fair this weekend. I have some thoughts on them, but I want to know what your weirdest fried food is.
I don't even want to say it's weird. It was probably the best fried food that I've ever had. And I visited the North Carolina State Fair up in Raleigh-Durham last year. Oh my goodness. So I might have even talked about it here, but I had a fried grilled bacon and cheese.
Oh my God.
So like a grilled cheese with bacon on it that was fried. Oh my heart attack. Like I felt it right away. Like this is gonna take
one more time. Can you just describe what you eat again?
So it is a grilled cheese, but the grilled cheese had bacon in it, and that was deep fried.
That sounds amazing. They get weird with some shit like, like in Wisconsin they have Wisconsin and Minneapolis State Fair, they do the fried butter. I don't know about that.
That's a lot of cholesterol.
That's a lot of cholesterol. Fried Oreos, I'm on board with the fried Oreos. The fried Reese's I was a little disappointed because I love Reese's. That's my shit. It was just like I took a bite and I almost want to throw up. It was so sugary. But man, and you know what I regret not getting fried they had? How do you feel about a fried peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
I probably would like that. I haven't had it, but like again, that's like I love a good grilled cheese. So if you add bacon and you fry it, all you're doing is adding more things that I like. So if you have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I like peanut butter and jelly. So if you fry it, I'm probably gonna like it even more.
And we got Zay Bell in the chat. Zay, hit us up with one of the weirdest carnival food you've ever had. I want to hear your weirdest carnival / fair food. I also had to do the badass move of buying the giant turkey drumstick. I'm talking about like the Disney one where you walk around and just eat it like a Viking.
Yeah, like you're at the medieval fairs from back in the day.
Absolutely. So fairs, like I'm all right on the animals and the carnival rides, but give me some good fair food, some corn dogs, some deep fried shit. I am in, man. I am
100%. Other than like the random ass gunshots that we're at, and it's not random because we're in the South, but like that at the fair, I'm a big fan of like enjoying the fair atmosphere. I think it's a lot of people, but there's something to distract the girls because there's so much going on, and there's something to help the parents because you're just grabbing food.
Man, love it. Anything else from this weekend you want to recap? Any fun things for the people? Any good conversations you want to have first?
Yeah, man. I was up north, like you had mentioned. We kind of hinted at it. I was visiting up north for my fellow New Englanders, and it was an incredible wedding. So for those that are watching the Mr. and Mrs. Leandro, if they're able to jump in tomorrow and listen to us, or if they jump in live tonight, thank you for putting on an incredible wedding. It was absolutely amazing. Got to see some old family and friends. You know, I visited the parents. It was a good trip, quick trip. Visiting usually goes very quick. We flew out on Thursday night. We flew back in Sunday, so it was a very quick turnaround, but it was fun.
And before we get into the football D, guess what's back?
What is back?
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Let's go. I needed that sounder. You know, we'll go. Oh, my bad. You gotta warn me, bro. Like you set me up and expect me to not just say "let's go." That's it.
I thought you were just gonna be like "let's go," and I was gonna jump right into the NFL action. I thought we had like a little telepathic stuff.
No,
guess not. Been a year and a half. We're still not on the same page. That's too sad.
Same book at least.
Let's talk NFL Week 4. There wasn't a ton of stuff we want to talk about. There was a few things I want to touch on, and the first thing I want to get on. And this is especially for all these people watching, because I know we have a lot of Patriots, New England fans here, you know, a lot of Northeast fans.
But they are who we thought they were.
And that's absolute dog shit. That's all I got to say. I stupidly, before the season, took Patriots over 6.5, and I'm going to sweat the rest of the season because, god damn, they are so bad. I have a hot take. It's not that hot, actually. I think it's very much the popular opinion around New England at this point. They need to fire Bill Belichick.
Ooh.
Let me tap the brakes on the fire Bill Belichick. They need to fire. There's two Bill Belichicks. Bill Belichick, the coach, and Bill Belichick, the GM. The GM has to go, man. This roster is dog shit. Absolute dog shit.
Not only is it bad, and I know that I've been, gone on record throwing Mac Jones under the bus multiple times. I'm not going to, beat a dead horse with this one. I don't think he looks great right now by any means, but he really has nothing around him. Still, you cannot throw from numbers to the opposite numbers across your body against the Dallas Cowboys. That's a stupid throw, right? But he really doesn't have an actual weapon on his team. He still makes dumb decisions. So I'm not forgiving him for that stupid pick six, one of the worst throws I've ever seen in an NFL game. But yes, the GM and Bill Belichick has not set that kid up for success.
And do you know how Mark Sanchez, and maybe this is just me.
Well, you just got to understand when you compare or even just mention Mark Sanchez with talking about the Patriots, it's going to get a laugh out of me.
All right. Do you remember how Mark Sanchez, everyone remembers this, the butt fumble moment?
Mm-hmm.
And ever since that point, there was no going back for Mark Sanchez. I feel the same way about Zach Wilson with the seeing ghost, or maybe that was the other quarterback that they drafted, Sam Darnold seeing ghost.
Darnold said it, yep.
I feel like this week against the Cowboys, Mac Jones had that moment where there's no going back. And I don't know if you watched the game or if anyone listening to the podcast watched the game, but there was a moment, Patriots down 2 touchdowns, and it was it was either 2nd and 9 or 3rd and 9, and they needed 9 yards. He had nothing open. He started to run, and he scrambled and ran. He's running. He's about 4 yards from the first down. There's I think it was a safety, number 9 maybe, comes up, and there's 2 options. You slide down as a quarterback and give yourself up, or you try to do a lame ass juke move. Mac Jones decides to try to truck number 9. And number 9 doesn't even try to take Mac Jones out because, you don't want to be penalized for attacking the quarterback. So he just stands there. Mac Jones hits him, is stoned, and just falls over. And at that point, I'm like, oh, this poor dude's cooked. He's got nothing left. If it just felt so sad and pathetic. I don't think there's any coming back for Mac Jones at this point.
I didn't see that specific play. I did watch the game. I was able to go to my brother-in-law's this weekend, and they're full Patriots fans, so they're going to watch, as much as possible. But no, I didn't see that play, and I feel bad. I really do feel bad because you're right. I don't feel bad. No, the thing is, look, I don't feel bad for the Patriots fans. Welcome to mediocrity. It's about time. We told you.
right now, man.
This is bad, but I'm saying like it's been a long time coming. What I do feel bad for is Mac Jones. I do, because he doesn't look. I think he's not a great. I don't think that he's he's that quarterback. I don't think he's the franchise guy. But I also think he's part of a situation where if this was a Justin Fields situation, who's around him, we're kind of putting the same shoe on the foot of Mac Jones, where he doesn't really have anything around him to actually get him out of hot water. I know that it's not all his fault. Some of it is, but like it's really not. He can't do much because he doesn't have anything. He's got Zeke Elliott. Like, come on.
Let's play a game.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, because this is where I'm at with Mac Jones. All right, you can. There's people in the comments. You can check the comments when I make this rant. I think at this point, Mac Jones has proven himself to be a good backup quarterback. Like, he is a backup quarterback that you would want, that can come in, fill in nicely. Maybe he'll win you a game, but he's not special that he can elevate your team to wins. And I think that asking him to be a starting quarterback and like be a successful starting quarterback is a lot to ask for him. I don't think that in the future, give him like 2 or 3 years, I think he'll be on another team as a backup, a very desirable backup, making $5 to $6 million a year. And that's great. That's where he belongs. That's his role. Let me play a little game with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this game is Would You Rather. All right. Would you rather have Mac Jones, Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray.
Mac Jones, Desmond Ridder?
Desmond Ridder.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Mac Jones, Baker Mayfield right now?
Mac Jones.
Hater. You just beat your ass. Mac Jones, Sam Howell?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I'm going to go Sam Howell because of athleticism.
So you only have him above Baker. Mac Jones, Stroud? I think you're going Stroud.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, Jordan Love?
Jordan Love.
Mac Jones, Bryce Young?
Taylor's out. He's only played 2 games.
Here's a good one. Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo?
Ooh, really good one. Because of body of work, Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's not like it's like a 51-49 type thing. Like, that percentage is close, or even like 49.9 and 51.1. Like, that's how close it is.
More close ones. Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett?
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, Ryan Tannehill?
Where I'm at, it depends on my franchise. If it's rebuilding, Mac Jones. If it's established, Tannehill.
And the rest of the quarterbacks I'm looking at this list, you probably go other quarterbacks. So you like, in your opinion, Mac Jones is the
bottom 5
quarterback, which is essentially, if you're not young at this point with upside, you're back up in a couple of years. This is it.
Yeah.
This is Mac Jones' future, man. Like, it ain't happening.
Well, the problem is he peaked his rookie year, and not to say that like he can't get better, but like he took a gigantic step backwards year 2. And we knew that, he didn't have the best of team already. And starting off, I think he's thrown 5 touchdowns, 4 picks, like not the greatest QB rating right now. It's 44. So it's actually, it's half of what it was, his rookie season. Not good. I think he has some tools. The part that hurts Mac Jones, and it's because of how fast the NFL is, it's athleticism. It's when he gets, in a bind, the pocket collapses, he has to turtle, and he doesn't have the arm strength to just get the ball out quick. He doesn't have the accuracy that everybody thought that he did. So like he's playing it, he's going up, he's battling an uphill battle, essentially, when it comes to the wave of the NFL, which is athletic downfield throwers.
I think for him, it's like his greatest attribute, at least in his first season, was his decision making.
Oh, I was going to say kicking people in the balls after the whistle, but
he's really good at kicking people in the balls. That he is good at that, but no, decision making. That was a good joke. And got you. His decision making, at least the past 2 years, have gone down the tubes. And last year we gave him a pass like, "Oh, Matt Patricia is a clown," masquerading as offensive coordinator. We thought with Bill O'Brien this would be better, and it has not gone any better. I think you have to now look at Mac Jones as the problem there. And the good news for the Patriots is they're bad. They play a really difficult schedule going forward. They have a couple easy games, but it's a tough schedule, and it's a really good quarterback draft. So, they can mess around and end up by getting the number 1 pick in the quarterback. I mean, pick in the draft. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're good. I don't think a Bill Belichick team would ever be the worst team in the NFL. I can't fathom that.
Well, let me count this really quick.
Yeah.
Two of their potentially best defensive players are now out indefinitely. Judon and the Gonzalez kid they drafted in the first round is actually really good. I don't know what his status is. I know he's indefinitely out right now.
I know he was hurt. I did unfortunately hear about that, and you're giving away my picks when it comes to stuff for
I'm also doing Saints. Don't worry about it.
But yes, I would say again, just because of his aura, and you kind of hinted at it of like getting rid of Bill Belichick, the GM. It's not just the roster decisions he's making; it's the coaching decisions he's making, and the Patricia issue, terrible. Bringing in Bill O'Brien, I understand he's a better offensive coordinator, but like he wasn't great in Houston, right? He had Deshaun Watson, so like who can't be good with a healthy Deshaun Watson. And it's like you're expecting to, squeeze blood from a stone. And again, I'm coming off as like a Mac Jones apologist after all the shit that I've talked about him. But what I'm saying is I'm defending him to the point where he has nothing around him. To his own detriment, he's digging his own grave. Even with, like you said, his greatest attribute being decision making, you cannot make that pass that he made against Dallas. That was just literally one of the worst. Like, you're taught in grade school to not throw across your body and never to throw it numbers to numbers. And he literally did both. Was like, I'm gonna do this, and the receiver was like, "Is this coming to me?" And the defender was like, "Oh, it's coming to me," and like just caught it into the house. And it's like, come on, man, you did that. Like, you're, and I think he was benched after that. Like, you're making it easy for people to just jump off of your hype train of, can you be the guy when you make decisions like that?
It's
new territory for New England. We'll just say that. It's brand new territory for y'all. Well, most of y'all motherfuckers that are listening today or tomorrow, y'all gone 20, 25 years, and you might be 30. So, like, you don't remember how it was in the mid-90s with Bledsoe or before Bledsoe. So, like, this is new territory. We used to be called the Aints. Like, we used to have to put bags on our heads. And had it not been for the Bush, draftee and the signee of Drew Brees, probably would still be doing that. But, we got that. I've been bad. We've been in the top 5 for draft picks. Y'all haven't. So, like, I'm sorry. I'll tell you, I'm not trying to gloat because I just knew this would happen. That's all. It's just we knew that it was going to be like this.
Listen, I'm not sympathizing with the Patriots fans. I'm a Bucs fan. I've gone through 20 years of hell before I got Tom Brady won Super Bowl. But it's funny to see them bad, and the worst case scenario for them is if they end up by effing around and winning 4 more games somehow this season and end up by not getting a quarterback and just ride out Mac Jones for another year.
They won't do that. What I can tell you is, and this is just a little bit of a background knowledge for college football, this is a very deep quarterback draft.
Yeah. So
there's like 10 to 12, with 12 being like Shador, like Sanders, who's serviceable from what we're seeing. Like, it's not like he doesn't make bad decisions. We'll say that. And he's got a great arm. So, like, if that's your 12th best quarterback, I think if you're looking for a quarterback, this is going to be a good season for you.
Oh, yeah. I know you want to talk about some revisiting NFL awards. Just couple other quick notes. And if you want to stop any of these, we can. Bills, big win against the Dolphins. Dolphins look like juggernauts. And the Bills, their offense looks electric. I'm guessing Josh Allen's MVP favorite right now. Broncos eking out a win. The Bears are still a disaster. Let's see what else was exciting. Texans look very scrappy. CJ Stroud looks awesome. Potentially best rookie quarterback in this class. The Aints back in their old ways with famous Jameis losing to the Bucks. I don't know if you want to talk on that one. I told you, man, that the injury to Derek Carr is very scary. I don't know what his status is now. You're the Saints fan. Is there any news on when he will be back?
He played.
Derek Carr did play?
Yeah, he played. He didn't play well. He didn't throw anything past 10 yards. But yeah, Derek Carr played.
Oh, my bad. I didn't watch the game.
That's how bad the game was. He played and he did not look good. He didn't look good just based off of, I would say, like, it looked like he had a shoulder injury.
Okay.
So like that's part of the issue is I've had a separated AC. I'm pretty sure anybody that's played football has had a separated AC. It's not fun, but yeah, he was out there and he was just thinking and dunking 40 attempts or 37 to be exact and 127 yards. He was literally just throwing the ball within 5 yards. So one downfield pass to Olave that Olave dropped. So
By the way, I started a live this week. Not fun. We talked before the show. When you have a child, it's hard to watch those 1 o'clock games.
You're good.
I saw this score and I'm like, oh, that must be a Jameis start. But that's
how bad it was. It was just it to the
scary.
point where Baker Mayfield. A lot of the times people see like 26-9 and they're just like, well, the defense gave up 26 points. It's like, no, if you're on the field as much as you are because your offense can't do anything, you're still playing. Yeah, you're still playing another NFL offense, right? Like, there's not saying that the Bucs are juggernauts, but like Mike Evans is still pretty good. Chris Godwin is pretty damn good. Rashad White can run the ball, and Baker Mayfield. I know that I took I took Mac over him, but I'm just going off of body of work, right? Like I think you could rework Mac Jones with a good team more than you can with Baker. We've seen Baker with a good team, and he hasn't been good. He had a good team when he was in Cleveland. So don't tell me that he didn't.
Saying, watch out for Baker Mayfield being the comeback Geno Smith story.
Whatever. But yes, the Saints did not look good. Just to put a cap on that one, obviously.
Do you want to take back your take about the Bengals last week? You said the Bengals are a playoff team, and they played the Titans, who have one of the worst pass defenses up until this week. Through the first 3 weeks, their pass defense was like bottom 5. And we thought this would be a bounce back week for Joe Burrow. 3 points. 3 points for the Bengals. Are you worried now?
Very. Joe doesn't look good. So it's not even just like his calf that like is a problem. It's making his ability to throw the ball downfield. It's taken off everything. He's missing throws that you go, huh? Like, you used to be able to drop a ball in a bucket and you can't throw an out pass 5 yards. So like it's tough. I also hear, ramblings, not to say that Jamar has overthrown anybody under the bus, but like he's even saying, I'm always open. Like, just throw it to me. And like, he just can't get to him the ball. Yeah. So they're in some serious trouble. I wasn't expecting, and this is not a shot at Baltimore. I wasn't expecting Baltimore to look this good, but the way that they flexed against Cleveland makes it harder for the Bengals to make a playoff spot.
I will say
one is related to the other.
Yeah, with the whole Baltimore thing, though, Cleveland was down to Deshaun Watson. They started a rookie quarterback. So, I'm not going to take too much stock in that win this week. I mean, I like Baltimore. I think they're a good team.
They ran it right at Cleveland, though, is what I'm saying. And, dude, I hope you got to see it. The touchdown pass that Lamar Jackson threw my goodness. I don't want to hear anybody say Lamar is not a passer ever again. Oh, even a blind squirrel finds enough. Like, Ben Roethlisberger threw that type of pass to Santonio Holmes in the Super Bowl. It is 3 defenders jumped and swung and missed, and he put it in the perfect spot. So yes, when we're seeing a different Lamar when he has people that he can rely on, right? And like he's got Bateman, he's got Zay if he needs to do a quick jump, a quick route run. He's got Mark. Yeah, and so like they look good. Their offense look good. They got a new offensive coordinator, and lo and behold, they look good. And that's the reason why I would say the Bengals are in a tough spot, is because it would have to be one of the two. I thought the Bengals would finish. Yeah, exactly. I thought they'd finish better, but no, the Ravens look really good.
Yeah, the Ravens look like they're running away at that division right now. I mean, it's still a very long season. That division, I think, is still going to be very competitive, but the Ravens have a nice edge. The last note from the weekend is that the state of New York football is just sad, except for New York City football, not New York State, because the Bills are awesome, but the Jets and Giants are just a laughing stock of the league. Although, you know what, the Jets played a very competitive game. They were 9.5-point dogs, and they came back and finished within 3.
Yeah, they covered, unfortunately. Zach Wilson didn't look terrible. I hate the random ESPN stat that was like Zach Wilson is the first quarterback to outperform Patrick Mahomes because he had more passing yards, he had more completions, and he had more touchdowns and less interceptions. I was like, but you lost, bro. Like, what? I understand they're trying to make it seem like, look, don't stop. Yeah, well, they also don't want people to stop showing up to games. So like, please just come. Like, he's got a chance. And it's like, nah, man, the season's over. You don't got Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you played tough, but like, there's no such thing as moral victories. What's up?
Is Aaron Rodgers, like, I was under the belief, maybe I'm just a hater, that what we saw the past 2 years of Aaron Rodgers was more of who Aaron Rodgers is, right? Because he had the MVP seasons, and then like I think it was last year before he was kind of mid to bad. Yep. And we all assumed like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to come back and join the Jets, and he's going to look awesome. The Jets are going to be great. Are we convinced that the Jets would be like 4-0 or 3-1 with Aaron Rodgers? Because I'm not.
I would be.
You would be?
Yeah, I think the quarterback makes a huge difference. I think it's a tough game. I can't say that they would have beat um the the Chiefs. I can't say they would have beat the Chiefs. But they could they did beat the Bills to start the season, right? Like that.
The fluky win.
I mean, they didn't have Aaron Rodgers, so like I'm not saying that they couldn't have pulled out some type of win. And I think they'd be in a different spot with Rodgers compared to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson legit lost them the game. I think it was against the Patriots where he just didn't do anything besides throw 5-yard passes. He legit lost them the game. I think Aaron Rodgers makes it a more competitive game, and they don't score 10 points.
I love that we can laugh at the Jets, but I also feel a little like robbed of not being able to see if it was going to be a real thing with the Jets, because we can always say in hindsight, like, oh, they would have been great with Aaron Rodgers, but we don't have the proof that it actually would have happened. It's a bummer. All right, you want to talk some of you revisiting some of your NFL award picks?
Yeah, just quick ones. Just because of the surprises. We're in week 5. I think it's cool to just revisit. Not saying that they're going to be runaways for it. You hinted at you think Josh Allen is going to run away with MVP.
He's the favorite right now. I'll give you the betting odds as you go through. So I'll back to you after you give your thoughts.
I think this could be, and I know that it's early, very early. The game is a longevity game. Quarterbacks typically outshine other positions. Christian McCaffrey is creeping up there as a potential winner of the MVP award, just to break the wave of it being all quarterbacks. Now, I'm not saying he's having an Adrian Peterson 2,000 rushing yards type of season, but he's just scoring so effectively, and he's on like a 30-game touchdown streak. Like if you bet, I think I saw somebody something online that said like if you bet $100 and did whatever it is, like he's gonna score for streak wise, like there's a bet that you can do that he's just
over every time.
Yeah, like you'd be up closer to like $30,000 because of how many times in a row he scored a touchdown in a game. So I'm not saying it's a lock, but like I wouldn't be surprised if you continue with these 2-3 touchdown games for the whole season. He creeps up there, and he actually does take away the quarterback. So I would love to see it other than a quarterback. That's all.
The odds, just to kind of fill in the detail on the MVP race right now. So you said Christian McCaffrey, you like him. He's definitely a dark horse. I know our friend Sloan Paiva, who joined us from Sporting News, he does all the betting. He actually put a bet in on Christian McCaffrey just for the value. Right now, he sits at the 7th best odds behind all quarterbacks. He's at plus 2,000. So basically, you bet $100, you win 2,000 back if you were to take Christian McCaffrey and he wins. Right now, it's Josh Allen, Tua, Mahomes, Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert.
Oh, did you just say Herbert?
He is ahead of McCaffrey right now. As far as Vegas betting odds, he's favored more.
Okay, I'm gonna let that one just ride. Yes, I do believe Tua, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts, 2 undefeated teams, and then one of the best passers in the NFL right now. Even with that dud of a performance against the Bills, it wasn't really a dud. The Bills just kept scoring. If it's touchdown, 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 punt, touchdown, 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 punt, like you're still having a good offense, and it's very similar to what the Dolphins did. They scored like every 2 drives, and the Bills just scored every drive. So it's like you put yourself in a very bad spot by just allowing 4 straight touchdowns to start the game.
I like Lamar Jackson at the 5th favorite odds at plus 110 right now, just because he's super dynamic and that's a good Ravens team. Here's an interesting one. I don't know if you have any interest in this at all. 8th best odd right now, right behind Christian McCaffrey, is Brock Purdy.
No.
I mean, listen, if that team ends up by being 16-1 or 15-2, because their schedule is really easy. No, you're just shaking your head profusely.
No, way out on that one. I even made the comparison.
He's great.
He's good. He's good, I think. And again, don't take this the wrong way, New England fans. He is the 2nd and 3rd year Tom Brady for the 49ers. Meaning, just go out there and don't lose us the game.
Did he win Super Bowl that year?
Yeah, he did. He wasn't an MVP candidate. That's what I'm saying. Is you go out there and just give me the 200 to 250 yards. Give me the 30 yards on the ground. Hand the ball off to McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell, and get your ball to Debo, to Ayuk, and Kittle, and just let our defense play. Don't give us short fields. Don't throw bad interceptions. Don't give us bad turnovers. And I think he could just play that role. Why Trey Lance couldn't do it is beyond belief, or why Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't do it is unbelievable. but I'm not going to put him up there with MVP candidates. I just think he has the ability to lead that team to the Super Bowl because he just has to not fuck up.
Yeah, I like Brock Purdy just because he has that, I don't know, like that Tom Brady-esque quality of just being so cerebral. And he just seems so calm at all times, which is exactly what they need with the 49ers. All right, after NFL MVP, were there any other awards you want to revisit? And again, we talked about awards preseason. You can check that episode out. We were joined by Sloan Paiva to talk awards. We're going to revisit, maybe change some of our takes. So any takes that you had, D, outside of MVP that you want to revisit?
Yeah, this is just one that is I guess like leading when it comes to potential winners. CJ Stroud, Rookie of the Year. We talked about, not even joke, like I thought that we were going to see a little bit more out of Jalen Hyatt in New York. New York's just a dumpster fire right now. But we talked about the quarterbacks that
plays, by the way.
What's that?
Barely plays.
I know. I don't know why they don't have wide receiver depth and he still can't find the field. But anyway, Bryce Young, just injury prone. I think that's out there. He's in there with Wolves. Sorry, my apologies. He's not injury prone. He's just already been injured.
Right.
And missing a game doesn't help. Obviously, your odds. We talked about it being a longevity game. Same thing with Anthony Richardson. He's already missed time. Great quarterback. I would say electric style. I won't call him a great quarterback. He's an electric young talent. We see how good Bijan Robinson is, but they typically reward quarterbacks before they reward any other position. And I think CJ Stroud just looks like he's back there just playing pitch and catch with everyone. Like he's made Brevin Jordan be relevant. He's got Nico Collins, obviously. He's got Tank Dell, who came out of nowhere. I could only tell you, Damian Pierce was on the team when the season started, but like you're hearing names that you wasn't expecting because of CJ Stroud. Right. So I'll give him that credit.
They're 2-2, man. Like that Texan team finished the bottom of the barrel last year. They were what? They picked second overall last year. So huge improvement. Shout out to their new head coach who came over from San Francisco. I'm drawing a blank on the name of their head coach. But the team's very competitive. And CJ Stroud, as you said, you would have picked him to be the MVP right now, or excuse me, Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's a pretty heavy favorite. He's still plus money at plus 175, but he's head and shoulders ahead of the rest of the field.
What was he at the beginning of the season?
He was tied with like Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson. It was like a three-way plus around 550. Gotcha. So like the odds have swung pretty heavily in his favor, and rightfully so. I think you showed me a stat on a text today where he has the most completions without throwing interception in a row out of rookies.
To start a season. Yeah, well, not even just a rookie, just a player in the NFL, because it included Tom Brady in there. It's like 150 straight passes, 151 to be exact, straight passes without an interception to start a career.
Very rare for a rookie, especially one that's being asked to throw the ball 40 times a game.
Yeah, I mean, 4 games, 150 attempts. That's closer to 50 attempts per game. Like he's out there throwing that rock. Names that were up there, just in case you guys are wondering: Warren Moon, Carson Wentz. We joke about Carson Wentz, but we know how good he was his rookie season with Philly. Case Keenum. I mean, that's just a weird anomaly. And Tom Brady. So like those are the people that he's beating. He's now almost doubling up. Those guys were all in the hundreds. He's at 150.
All right, and last one. You had 3, right? What was the other award you wanted?
I mean, just not as fun. But I think Myles Garrett might be coming up there when it comes to a potential Defensive Player of the Year. I think he did get hurt in the last game against the Ravens, so that's one that sucks. I thought about this prior to his injury, obviously. And TJ Watt, I know that he's flirting with becoming like he's already passed. I think it was Jerome Harrison, the linebacker for the Steelers. Like he's 5 years in, he's the sack leader for Pittsburgh. That's like incredible to think how good he is on defense to own that type of record for that historic franchise. So I think his could be a runaway year for him to actually win that, because
neither of those were the favorite right now.
James Harrison, thank you, Hip Hop Anonymous. Really, TJ Watt is tied for second in sacks right now, and Myles Garrett is first.
Is third on the DPOY odds. Myles Garrett second. Leading DPOY odds right now, Micah Parsons.
Parsons just got hurt though. That's the tough part. I mean, I did just say that Myles Garrett also got hurt. Parsons did not look good after that injury. But we'll see, obviously, if it's something that's going to affect him long term.
And D'Amico Ryans was the coach that I completely blanked on, the Texans head coach. I just want to really quick before we move on to the gambling section. NFL Coach of the Year. I know the Dolphins looked bad against the Bills, and everyone's going to kind of back off the Dolphins. But man, what Mike McDaniels is doing with that offense, I understand they have some really good skill positions, but he is putting every player in the perfect position to succeed. I've never seen, outside of maybe Sean McVay at his apex, the way Mike McDaniels gets the most out of every possession in offense. He's not even the favorite to win Coach of the Year. I think he should win this award, and I think by the end of the season, I think the Dolphins will finish with like 11 wins, 12 wins. He'll end up by winning this award. He's actually right now second.
Behind Sirianni first.
Dan Campbell. I don't know why people like Campbell so much, just because
he's doing a lot with Detroit. But no, I would say that if he does lose it, it's going to be to like Sirianni, just because I think the Eagles finish with 2 losses on the season.
Sirianni is way down in the.
Incredible. I don't understand why the Eagles coming off of this is like the best start to a rebounded team that lost the Super Bowl like in NFL history. Usually the hangover year is terrible for them.
The thing is, like, Coach of the Year isn't like how good are you this singular year. It's always like, what are your expectations going into the year and how have you exceeded them? So like the Eagles' expectations are already so high that it's really hard to exceed them. Whereas like Dan Campbell, the Lions were like 500 last year. They missed the playoffs. They missed playoffs, yeah. Mm-hmm. And if they can be a winner of the division and finish with like 10, 11 wins, that's a huge improvement. And it's, it's one of those things.
I get what you're saying.
Are you ready to lose some money?
Absolutely.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
That is right. We're back and ready to lose some money with you all. And I say that for D because D, last week you had a rough one. You went 0 for 3 in your gambling picks. I went 3-0. I was on fire, baby.
Good for you. I think I'm gonna stay away from college. Also these random ass backdoor covers just killing me. So I gotta place a little bit better, smarter bets now.
You want to know what the most annoying thing about this gambling weekend was?
What's that?
I played all my bets on the show and won all of them. I crushed it. I was up so much money. And then of course, Monday Night Football comes and I'm like, oh, I feel good. I'll play Monday Night Football. Absolutely rocked on Monday. So I'm even over the weekend. Let's get into it. So I'm on a hot streak. My total record actually is 4-5, which doesn't sound great overall. I'm about 500. My 3 picks this week. I think we're gonna agree on the first one. I'm taking the Saints. Dude, Saints are on. I know they're on the road. I know they looked bad with Derek Carr. There's a reason why Derek Carr was so bad. His shoulder is falling off. I think another week to recover and get back into form. He'll be better passing the ball. For me, it's like they're playing the Patriots. The Patriots can't score. I trust the Saints offense to score. I don't trust the Patriots to score. I think the Saints can pull away in this game and the Patriots will be left in the dust, especially with losing Judon and Gonzalez on the defensive side. Saints are getting points. Give me the Saints on the road against the Patriots. That one's easy money. 2 other ones. I know I love the Ravens. We talked about the Ravens last week. Watch out for Mike Tomlin. Watch out for Mike Tomlin because there's like a statistic where Mike Tomlin division games at home as a dog. I think he's like a 75 to 80% winning rate as a dog against the division opponents at home. They're a dog. They're playing in a division opponent at home. The Steelers are getting 4 points at home versus the Ravens. I'm sniffing kind of like a weird bounce back game. Maybe the Ravens don't score as much. The Steelers defense steps up. I'm taking the Steelers +4. And then finally, Colts versus Titans. God, man, the Titans are just awful to watch. I hate watching them. I know they beat the Joe Burrow and the Bengals this week, so people are hyping up the Titans, right? I believe in this Colts team. They have some really good talent. I like Anthony Richardson. He can get some points. The Colts are a 1-point favorite at home versus the Titans. I'm taking the Colts -1. against Titans. Those are my 3 picks for the week. I'm feeling another 3-0 week coming on.
Good for you. I mean, my end, it's showing the Colts and Titans game is actually even.
Even. Can I switch my even? Can I double check? Did the line move?
I'm looking at it on ESPN though, so you're gonna have to. If you're looking at it via Vegas, for ESPN, it says it's even.
I looked at DraftKings before the show to get my line. It's still -1, so I'm gonna go with the DraftKings -1 odds.
Cool. Yeah. No, I think you're a big fan of those picks. More importantly, I think you hit a spot on with the Saints Patriots. That was my pick. That's not even just the homer versus the New Englander. I think it's just the 2 injuries to Christian Gonzalez and Matthew Judon. That's a game changer. Those are your 2 biggest playmakers on defense in an already struggling team. So I think another week, like you said, with Derek Carr being able to actually throw the ball. Alvin Kamara looked pretty good, returning back from his suspension. We'll see what happens, obviously, on the offensive and defensive side of things. Give me 1 second.
Can I just address this comment because this is hilarious? Hip hop is just it was Josh Allen hater saying Jameis Winston is Josh Allen with bad PR. Get out of here. That is the worst take ever.
That's incredible. No, don't do that. Crab legs himself. He's not taking a team to start 4-1. Yeah, go eat a W. No, that was embarrassing when he did that. So I'm glad he played for the Bucs when he did that, and he didn't do that with the Saints. He's been very quiet with the Saints when it comes to pregame warmups.
You remember him in the locker room after they won that game though in the playoffs?
The locker room. No, they weren't in the playoffs.
Oh, okay, whatever it was, the win against the Bucs, the crutches, amazing.
Yeah, when he tore his shit.
Give me your picks.
So you're good.
Saints.
Yes, definitely going with the Saints +1.5. Texans Falcons. I like this one because again, I think CJ Stroud and the Texans offense is actually pretty dynamic right now. They're on the road against the Falcons. We'll see how they do, in an on the road Atlanta atmosphere. I think the Falcons are a pretty decent young team also, but I think the Texans can actually win this one outright.
So you're taking the Texans. What's the spread on that? I got +2. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, +2. So
you're taking Texans +2. I thought about that one, to be honest with you. The only thing that scared me was the Falcons got embarrassed last week. I just feel like they're still a decent team, and I feel like they're destined for a bounce back this week.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I think they still miss. They were in not Germany. Sorry, they were in London for this past game against the Jags. So we'll see. But I believe in CJ Stroud. I think they can cover that one. And then for me, I hate to beat a dead horse. Was going with the Chiefs again, but I think the Vikings are just in shambles as a team. I think Mahomes on the road, but in a dome, is just going to show how good he actually is. So give me the -5 against the Vikings. I think the Vikings can't run the ball. They can really just throw to Justin Jefferson. You match up. I think their best corner is Tre'Davious Ward against Justin Jefferson, and just shadow him with a safety and see if they can beat you anywhere else.
It's such a weird line too. -5. You're over the field goal threshold. So a field goal doesn't beat you, or excuse me, a field goal beats you if you win by field goal, but you're under the touchdown threshold. So it's like in no man's land as far as the point spread is concerned. I like that pick. The Vikings defense has been awful. I'm curious, we don't do over-unders here. I'm curious what the over-unders for that game, because I would probably play the over. Just based on both defenses this season has given up a ton of points. I know the KC defense has been a little better the past 2 weeks, but they still give up 20 to Zach Wilson. So I would probably take the over. What is it? Do you know?
53.
It's high.
So that's a 28-24 type of game. I don't see that.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah,
no,
you're good. You're good.
All right.
That's why I would look at that though.
You're taking Saints +1.5, Texans +2, Chiefs -5. Just to remind the people, your record is 2-6-1. You need a 3-0 week to get back in the mix of things. But hey, I hope we all win some money this week, especially you guys listening to the podcast. Remember, gamble responsibly. Don't take our bets seriously, unless you're taking mine seriously, because I always win.
Women, any weather, naughty denim and leather, call it tricking, whatever, son, they get better. I'm one smart cookie, the vet that smacks rookies. My stocks on top, your checks.
That's a banger. Hang in there, guys. We are going to also talk about the Dame Lillard trade. I know there's Celtics fans here watching probably that want to hear about some Drew Holiday stuff. Want to quickly touch on college football with you because I know you're a huge college football fan yourself, D. I had a question for you. I don't know if you want to start with that or if you want to start with something else. You're definitely on mute. I think that was
a question. You're cool. No, you're good.
My question to you was, are we all sleeping on Alabama? Because they have one loss. They are 12th ranked in the standings, and they are starting to put it together, it looks like.
They're starting to put it together against Mississippi State, South Florida, and Middle Tennessee State. So
Well,
miss me with that. I know I skipped over the Ole Miss game, and Ole Miss and the Rebels just beat LSU. The reason why I say that is even in these games, what you have to do, you can't just look at the box score. You can't just look at the overall game. Jalen Milroe in a game against Mississippi State threw the ball 12 times. Their defense kept them in the game, right? Their defense blew the doors off of Mississippi State. He threw the ball 12 times for 160 yards. When you start playing these high end teams, like it's going to you play at at LSU, you play Auburn, right? You're gonna play if you end up getting a little bit farther, you're gonna play SEC championship games. Like those are the games that they have to worry about. Tennessee likes to put the score up, so like you got to compare the quarterbacks. And Jalen Monroe is a great runner. He is a subpar passer, and I think that's what's going to bite them against good teams.
all right. I mean, that's fair. I also had a second question for you about like just in general, right? Is the Pac-12 the whatever it's going to be going to be defunct Pac-12 the best college football conference? Because they have at least 3 teams that I feel very confident could beat anyone on any given Saturday. And I'm talking about Washington, Oregon, and USC all look like absolute dominant teams.
Yeah, I mean they are college is quarterback like heavy. If you have a good quarterback, it brings you very far. And you just named 3 Heisman Trophy candidates. You have Caleb Williams, you have Bo Nix, and you have the kid Penix Jr., Michael Penix Jr. They're all legit Heisman Trophy candidates. I think Caleb Williams runs away with it, but like these are guys that are throwing the ball 40, 50 times for 400 to 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, and maybe 1 interception. So yeah, I think those types of guys and teams can beat anybody on any given Saturday should they get the opportunity for it. You put Washington in the college football playoff against Georgia, it's quarterback versus team. And I think we can see that be a team that actually upsets. Same thing with Bo Nix and obviously Caleb Williams.
Well, this is a good segue because we were talking before the show, right? In the past years of college footballs, I'm always thinking like, all right, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and then maybe Clemson, like the top 4 locked in, right? Very top heavy. I am a casual. I'll admit to it when it comes to college football.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like I don't see a single team that I feel really confident about. Even Georgia this year, who's been 2-time repeating champion, they've looked kind of not dominant at times, which is, I mean, that's a weird way to put it. They're not bad, but like they usually just stomp everyone out. They don't look to be that juggernaut anymore.
It looked beatable, and I think you hit it on the head. I might have even hinted about this a couple weeks ago. I said that like college football is in a weird state right now where there's no dominant team, and because there's no dominant team, it just makes everybody, I guess, eligible for the college football playoff. Not to say Carson Beck is a great or terrible quarterback. He's not great. He's above average. But Stetson Bennett, the 5th, I want to say he was, or the 4th.
The 4th. Whichever
one he was. He plays for the Rams now. He was a college quarterback. He looked great, and he did it for multiple years.
Oh, man. D, I know you're coughing, so I'm going to segue, but like we need at some point, and you get back to your point in a second, we need to do a top 5 best college quarterbacks, guys who are not professional, like not good professional, but just dominated kids in college.
So I am 100% down for that as a top 5, just to piss people off when it comes to my quarterbacks. But yes, I would love to do that. Getting back to obviously the ranking, I think Georgia, they look beatable. You got the kid that's out in Michigan, who JJ McCarthy, he's good, he's decent. He's also a potential Heisman candidate because he's got an undefeated team, but Michigan always comes up short in the big games. You could say the same thing with Ohio State. I don't even know their quarterback because they don't have a CJ Stroud. They don't have a Justin Fields. It's not that style of quarterback. And those teams that do are potentially going to be better. Texas, Quinn Ewers is really good. He's looking over his shoulder for the Manning kid. So like this is the best, season of his entire life. College, high school, whatever, it's because he's got to worry about Archie behind him. So he's playing his ass off because if he throws 1 interception, they're throwing in the Manning kid. So I see him doing really well, obviously, for Texas. But again, they all look beatable. The teams that are randomly good that you give a shot to, Penn State, Florida State, Washington, just because they're lower ranking for them. But I know that you said you got somebody outside of the top 10, so
All right.
I'm
I got
curious.
a team outside of the top 10 that I think might be a dark horse in this college football playoffs, right? I think you're going to laugh at me and be like, get GTFO to me. But it's a team that had last year got a new coach, so rebuilding the culture there. And their new culture, it seems to be toughness, very offensive, defensive line heavy, push you around, get dirty. They have a quarterback who's, I think, leading the college football, at least like top 5 in passer rating, passing yards. A guy who was thought of, and tell me if you get it yet. The guy who was thought of as a first round draft pick last year, but poor performance saw him drop, and he stayed in college. Tyler Van Dyke's the quarterback of Miami University, University of Miami.
Okay, you switched it by saying Miami University because you curveball. I was going to say you are not saying that the Miami
Hawks.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Miami. They're undefeated. They're playing the ACC, which seems to be a down conference this year. They're a team that could sneakily win out, make the college football playoffs, and be trouble for someone.
Yeah, I mean it's the ACC. I think it's I don't think it's a conference championship division anymore, or conference. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'd have to look into it. I think it's just the outright winner. So that means they have to play Ohio State. Florida State. I don't see it. I mean, not a bad choice. JA from the Northeast is definitely going to like that because he's a big Miami fan. Tyler Van Dyke, even if he stayed in, like you said, college this year, he wasn't on my top 5 radar as a quarterback that I would have known about. So he might get drafted 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I don't see him. I don't remember anybody talking about him being a top 5 pick as a quarterback. So it's good that he stayed an extra year. Miami is always one of those weird teams that they start off hot and then they get clipped by Duke in North Carolina. It just always happens. Duke's good. Yeah, I think they got a decent quarterback also. But
North Carolina.
What's that?
I don't trust North Carolina at all. Their defense is horrendous. They almost lost to App State.
True. I think Riley Leonard is in Duke, and there's another kid that is in North Carolina, that Drake May. Drake May was is one of those considered top 10 quarterbacks for the draft next year. So like they still got to play those teams, Florida State, Duke, and North Carolina. So we'll see how they are if they are able to get by 2 out of 3 of them, and then it leads into the Florida State game. Not a bad dark horse, but again, the bottom end of the ACC is very terrible. It's just the top 3 teams.
Anything else? Like you love college football. You're all about that life. It gets you really excited. Anything else that excited you so far, at least through like last week?
It's weird. I hate that LSU's out. I won't really need to talk about it. Jaden Daniels definitely a disappointment for it. But the finishing of this season, you're gonna see, I think, 5, potentially 6 undefeated teams making that top 4 for the college football playoff. Going to be really hard for Selection Sunday. And then it's going to segue into next year's like 12-team playoff. So I'm excited for it because I don't want to see the mystique of the college football regular season go away because of the 12-team. I think when it's the one and done type of feeling, there's just so much passion involved in each game. But we're going to see, who's setting the table for the next 5 to 10 years with who finishes the last season with there being 4 teams, number 1. So it's going to be a good race, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, I know number 1, they're doing it for the money, right? More games on TV, more money. But when the people making these decisions usually, I'm not gonna say they're always right, but they usually have some sort of idea of how this is going to turn out. I'm excited for the 12-team playoff. I think it will end up by being a good product, even though we might not see that. I can't lose the game regular season feeling. It'll still make things fun. Let's get into something I've wanted to talk about all week. It's a story that we would have led off with had this podcast been recorded on Wednesday, but let's segue into some NBA and the Damian Lillard trade. Yeah, so for those listening on podcasts, I'm sharing the graphic of the trade just because it's easier for us to kind of break down the trade, and if we have all the pieces in front of us. So we have all teams involved. I added Boston because
Hold on. What? Let me just go. So Trudeau is one of the best producers in podcast history. I want to give him his props when it comes to his mixing, when it comes to his editing, when it comes to all of the graphics that we're able to put up. But my guy, you got to figure out how to share screen and not show screenshot file 2023 10
I cannot
JPG.
do that on
You got to figure that out for me because my goodness, it's great. It's an incredible job with do something. But you can see the X, the minimize. You got to figure that. There you go. Look at that.
Now I can't.
Perfect.
Now I can't see you, so I'm just looking at the thing, but it's fine. I mean, I'll just guess when you're talking. It's all good. Is that better? Am I good?
Yes, it looks so much better. I mean, you can't see Frizz and the Grizz, but it looks better.
All right, so let's talk Dame trade. And again, like if we were recording this podcast on Wednesday, right? I think the trade broke either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, whatever.
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning. So like we had just finished recording and this came out, so it's a week late. That's why it's the end of the show. Oh well. I don't know where you want to start. Let's just start with the Portland angle, right? They've been playing this cat and mouse game with Miami for months now, refusing to trade with Miami. They wanted more. Rumored the offer Miami was giving was Tyler Hero, Jaquez, the guy they drafted in the first round, Nikola Jovic, not Jokic, Jovic, a first round pick and maybe a swap. I think that's as far as they got conversations. And the feeling around the situation was Portland said, I want more. And Miami said, well, this is the best offer, so suck it. And they just stopped talking because for Miami, the point of view is, well, we have all the leverage. Dame said he wants to come here. What you going to do about it? You can see on the screen what they ended up by getting, right? DeAndre Ayton, Malcolm Brogdon, and then I'm including the second trade, Drew Holiday, Robert Williams, Golden State Warrior 2024 first round pick, which is I think top 20 protected. Bucks first for 2029 unprotected, Celtics first 2029 unprotected, and then Bucks first round swaps in 28-30. Do you like when you consider what they got here versus what Miami was offering? Do you like what Portland did and what they got back?
Yeah, they got a haul. They got pieces that they could even move again. I know that you had mentioned that off air. I think they stick with these pieces just because of the players that they already have. I think they made out better. I think the extra trade or like piece that they were asking for was Bam Adebayo, which that was never going to happen. You know, Miami was never going to part ways with it, but that's one of those. If you want Dame, give us Bam. They're like, no. So it became a stalemate, and this is why this trade went down. So I like Ayton and Brogdon going there. I think you surround obviously Scoot Henderson. You got Anthony Simons, who's been an incredible two guard the past couple of seasons, especially while Dame was out, and you got Shaedon Sharpe. So I think you're building the right young talent. I know you kind of scoffed at the idea of me saying I think they could be middling with a potential play-in next year.
No way.
You're saying that they're much lower than Hey, Dayton is an all defensive player, and I mean Ayton. Sorry, I guess it is Dayton, DeAndre Ayton. But like Ayton
called himself, by the way, Media Day.
I think I heard the name, but go ahead.
I think it was like Dominating.
Yes, he called himself Dominating. I did hear about that. But I think they got a fun little team. Not saying that they are a guaranteed lock, but I mean, we also didn't think that OKC was a guaranteed lock, right? When they had a bunch of young guys, you added a defensive presence to an offensively fast, athletic team. So I don't think it's a bad thing. We'll just see what they do with Brogdon and Robert Williams because I don't think they fit their mold.
No.
But we'll see how they go with that. Robert Williams is injury prone. Brogdon is like I just named off 3 guards that are better than him. So we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Brogdon got moved before the season started, just because they do already have a plethora of backcourt players in Portland that are younger that want to play. Brogdon, I think, would prefer to play for a contender. I'm looking at this trade for Portland. Like all the players they got back, Ayton, Brogdon, and Williams do have some sort of ding on them, right? Ayton, people are down on him just because of how he performed in the playoffs and how he kind of quit at the end with Phoenix. And the fact that Ayton's contract's pretty massive for his production, I think that's a ding. Brogdon, I mean, even a month ago, we were unsure of his injury history. I think he almost got traded to the Clippers, right? And that got vetoed because of his health.
Yep. He was actually traded, and then they were like, nope.
Yeah. And then obviously Robert Williams, while he's healthy now, we know the story of Robert Williams. So all the pieces they got as far as players, slightly red flags. I actually think what Portland got thing I like the most is probably that Bucks first 2029 unprotected pick. And hear me out on this one. Dame's what, 33?
Yes, he's up there in age.
He's going to be 38, 39 at that point. I don't think he'll be on the team. Giannis has been kind of weird about several times now in the past about like, get me help, or like, I'm not going to be committed. I don't know if Giannis will be on the Bucks in 2029. If everything breaks right for Portland, that could be a very valuable pick in the future. Same thing with I feel less great about the Celtics 2029 just because the Jays are so young, but you never know. So I like what Portland did. I think it's better than what Miami was offering them. I'm curious, do you know that Miami was also sniffing around on Drew Holiday? They got snubbed a second time.
Yeah, Miami tried to get everything. Once it fell through with the problem is they waited in free agency too. They didn't make any moves in free agency because they were waiting on Dame. But yeah, once that went through, you knew that they were trying to get Drew Holiday also, and that fell through.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad for Miami just because I'm actively rooting against Miami, but their plans this offseason just got blown up in their face because they made little to no free agency moves. They let guys walk, and they were hoping to get Damian Lillard. They thought they had Damian Lillard locked down. It was just a matter of time. That blew up in their face, and they pivoted to Drew Holiday, and that blew up in their face. So they are the what is it? The saying, the person on the dance floor, you know, at prom and no one's dancing with them. That's Miami right now. Milwaukee. That just made that up. That was stupid. I think. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Milwaukee, I've heard mixed feelings on the Damian Lillard trade because of the way Drew Holiday is such an impact defensive player for Milwaukee. And if you look at their backcourt now, you don't have any very strong defenders in the backcourt for Milwaukee with the addition of Dame Lillard and Drew Holiday out. I personally really like this move for Milwaukee only because their struggles in the past have primarily been, all right, crunch time, we need to generate some half-court offense. Right? Giannis could not get something on a break, and they were going to who? Chris Middleton, who was a shell of himself last year, and I don't know if he'll rebound and be all-star Chris Middleton again. So, like, this is your insurance policy in Dame Lillard, where if Chris Middleton doesn't become the Chris Middleton of 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where they won the championship, Dame's that guy. So your issues with crunch time offense are now completely gone. Defensively, you have Brook Lopez, who was a D-point candidate last year, and Giannis, who is this phenomenal defender. So, like, their interior defense should cover up for some of those weaknesses defensively. It's not going to fix everything, but, like, the trade-off for offense defense there doesn't bother me too much.
Let's not forget they get a full year of Jay Crowder also, a really good perimeter defender. I think he came in right after the trade deadlines. I think he was like really close to the playoffs too. Something weird for him because he wasn't a trade deadline deal, but he got traded to them after the deadline. But yeah, I think this is a great fit. I don't want to say perfect because obviously we'll see how it actually turns out. I think this is a great fit because you hit it right on the head with the half court offense. Bucks aren't worried about the regular season. They could be the 1 through 4 seed. It really doesn't matter. It's when a team has a whole. I mean, I think they could still win if they were on the road. I would say, what's up?
There's a team who got significantly better in this trade that's competing for a top seed in the East.
Oh, I understand that, and we'll revisit that, you know, in a little bit. What I would say is with the Bucks, it's their struggles always came in the playoffs when the team could shrink the court, and they would just wall up in the middle or in the paint and just disallow Giannis to get to the cup. But now you got to worry about the pick and roll. They're going to put Giannis and Dame in the pick and roll,
that's 100%, so much fun,
which is going to be an absolutely incredible show because this man can pull from half court. So, like, you think that he's going to pull from half court. Giannis comes up, and then they like, nope, fake. And you get a full head of steam of Giannis going to the cup. Like, no one's getting in front of that. Same thing where if you're like, all right, let me just play back. He's just going to pull from half court. So I think it's going to be a great offense for them. Like I said, in the half court. Dame hasn't had a second player on his team like this. We saw how fun it was with him and CJ. Is CJ and Giannis. So, like, this is going to be a different Dame Lillard that we'll get to see, as long as he just puts up the accurate shots that we know he can.
And on the flip side, Giannis has never had a second player like this on his team.
This is also true. So I think it's still the jury is out just because, like you said, a couple of years, like Dame's going to be up there in age. Giannis still hasn't really committed to Milwaukee. So we'll see. They get to the playoffs, they make the conference finals or potential NBA finals. I think Giannis stays there for the long term. He wins a championship, he's staying. They don't win a championship, this is a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
I will say this, like the price Milwaukee paid in comparison to like what Miami was offering, much bigger, and sending out 2 swaps, right? A first, their best defender, perimeter. Drew Holiday is a great 2-way player, and Grayson Allen. For me, it's like this is why Miami keeps missing. And we talked before the show of like Miami missing out after superstar after superstar after superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's a cost to doing business. Like what Miami keeps saying, well, this is what fair market value is. And the problem is like, if you really want that superstar, you got to pay up, man, and pay more than what you're willing to pay. Like you have to get uncomfortable sometimes. And like Milwaukee gave up a lot, but like they showed that they wanted Damian Lillard and they made it happen. Whereas Miami's just like, this is what fair market value is and I'm not going anymore. And if you're going to have that attitude, there's always going to be that one team that gets more aggressive than you. And that's on Pat Riley, man. But I think just before we move off Milwaukee, like the reason why they were so aggressive is this is not just a Dame Lillard trade to like get Dame Lillard. This trade is very much about Giannis because Giannis made it very clear in a New York Times interview that he was uncommitted to this team because he did not feel that they were committed to winning. He made it very clear that he was not going to sign an extension because he did not know if they were committed to winning. It's the same thing he pulled when they traded for Drew Holiday. And it's the same thing he pulled now. And this is showing Giannis like, hey man, we got your guy. Can you stay with us? Right? So even if the Dame Lillard thing doesn't work out and they can sign Giannis long term, it's a good move from Milwaukee.
Yeah, again, he hasn't fully committed. I think like I said, the jury's still out there, but this is a results-based trade. He stays if they can produce results, if he gets another championship. He is out the door if this doesn't work. There's no turning back from this one, especially with his age and obviously the aging Dame Lillard.
Phoenix, honestly, I think the trade for Phoenix is just about how much they hated DeAndre Ayton.
I've never seen, I think I even texted this to you. I've never seen a team want to get rid of a player more than the Phoenix Suns wanted to get rid of DeAndre Ayton. Like it was just broad daylight. Like we don't want your ass, so we're shipping you out of town the best way that we possibly can. It was easy for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare Yusuf Nurkic to DeAndre Ayton, DeAndre Ayton's flat out better than Nurkic in most metrics. Nurkic is better than Ayton as far as like willingness to rebound and willingness to do the dirty work, set hard screens, get hard rebounds, play tough, which is honestly, that's kind of what Phoenix would rather Ayton be doing, right? Ayton's by and far much more skilled than Nurkic, but they don't need all of the things that Ayton does. They do fit wise, need what Nurkic does better, but at the same time, like Nurkic has been hurt a lot the past couple of years, and he's been kind of bad, low key in Portland the past 2 years. I think this is just like the vibes are going to be better now, right? The Ayton's gone. You added a little bit of depth because, like, obviously with their salary situation, they can't add quality depth. Laugh at Grayson Allen all you want. Quality 3-point shooter helps. Nurkic, while it's a downgrade, better vibes, and he'll do the dirty work and rebound. So, like, I get why they did it in Phoenix, but from like a talent-wise, they definitely downgraded.
Yeah, talent, yes, but I think you might have hit on the head when you said depth. Like you still get Keon Johnson isn't really a slouch. He's a good shooter, but you get a big Nasir Little, probably not the greatest fit piece. But you get a big, you get a wing, and you get Grayson Allen. So like I think they get more players. Not to say they needed better players. They just need more bodies, and they got, substitutions that can come off the bench, even get you, 10, 15 minutes. Grayson Allen played a lot of minutes in the playoffs for the Bucks last year. And he was serviceable. So he can hit an open shot if you give it to him, and he can play good defense. Like you said, Nurkic doesn't do the dirty work as a big, but that's why you got Lopez and that's why you got Giannis. My apologies, you got KD. I was thinking about the Bucks. But you just have to worry about them. Not worry, you just have to have them on the court. And as long as they're able to just do something while they're on the court, while Beal, Booker, and Durant are on, some type of, spell or spill, let them come in right after 10 minutes, like get their break in, and they'll be fine.
If anything, the addition of Grayson Allen definitely propels Phoenix to close to the top of the standings as far as most hateable team in the league, because people love to hate on KD, and good God, Grayson Allen does not do anything to make people love him anymore. So
KD kind of been like under the radar though. Let him live, bro. People forget that they hate Kevin Durant until basketball season comes up. Like, oh yeah, I know that he's got a burner account.
Top 5 players people hate in the league. Kyrie's got to be up in the top 5. Grayson Allen's got to be in the top 5. I don't know.
I can see that. I think it's just those two. Just repeat the names.
Yeah, I mean, people hate on LeBron, but he's not like a hateable person per
Correct.
se. I don't know. You can disagree. Last piece of the trade, which came in afterwards, a couple of days afterwards, Boston won the Drew Holiday trade, sending out 2 very important pieces to their rotation in Brogdon and Robert Williams. In my opinion, this puts them, as far as like their starting 5, the best starting 5 in the league. Like all 5 guys on their starting 5, if they start Porzingis, Horford, the 2 Jays, and Holiday, all of them have made an all-star team at one point in their career, which is crazy. Like that could be the starting lineup. Obviously, this is a huge upgrade as far as their starting unit and their defense with Drew Holiday. They're replacing some of the defense they lost with Marcus Smart, but on the flip side, their depth is going to be very thin after their 6-man, which could be White. Like it gets very thin very fast. You're going to have guys like Peyton Pritchard playing a lot of minutes this year. And God forbid, like one of those starters gets hurt, it's going to start getting ugly. So we'll see. I like it as far as like their aggressiveness. And also like, if you think of their main competition, right, probably Milwaukee to win the East. Can you think of a better player to D up on Damian Lillard in playoff than Drew Holiday?
I mean, I get you're right on that one. I get nervous with this. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's the right move. You needed him when you're talking about making this run for a championship. Obviously, I just get nervous with, like you said, the depth of the team, because we've seen teams be able to take away one of the superstars, that being Jaylen Brown, which is going to put a lot of onus on Jason Tatum. Marcus Smart was an incredible defender. I know that I joke about him offensively, but he was an incredible defender, and he was their best playmaker. I don't think you replaced a playmaker on offense with a playmaker in Drew Holiday. You replaced him with a good point guard offensively and a great defender. But in games that the Patriots games, this is how much I dislike New England. But in games that the Celtics struggled, it was playmaking from outside of the wings position. Right, like if Tatum and Brown were relied on to make specific plays, they struggled incredibly bad, and that's where this could potentially bite them in the ass. And this isn't even a hater, a green teamer. I'm just keeping it real, the same way that I kept it real last year with them. I think Drew Holiday is a good fit. If you look back on it, you got rid of Marcus Smart and Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon to bring in Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. Let's just hope those are the right pieces, because there's nothing after those 5.
Yeah, I think a lot of the season this year is going to hinge on, can Kristaps Porzingis stay healthy? If the answer is no, then the Celtics are going to be in a tough shape. I have a random question that I just thought of while you were making that speech about how they were lacking playmaking, and it's true. Like when the Jays had to be playmakers in the playoffs, they were at times proficient. Like Tatum is proficient. Brown, I can't trust to be a playmaker. How would you have felt if the Celtics found a way, instead of having Chris Paul get sent to the Warriors, Chris Paul find his way on the Celtics to be like not a starter, but like a 6-man, like played 20 minutes a game, like secondary playmaker for the Celtics?
That would have been perfect. I think that's why it's going to be a good fit for the Warriors, because you're going to be able to take some of that playmaker responsibility off of your best players, allowing them to be best at what they do best. Steph Curry shoots the ball. Yeah, he can make good passes, he can make off-ball steals and whatnot, but he shoots the ball off of screens. So you're taking the ball out of his hands so that you can free him up to shoot. which you would do the same thing if Chris Paul was on the Celtics. You take the ball out of Jason Tatum's hands, you take the ball out of Jaylen Brown to let them find ways to get the right matchup. Then you give it to them in the right position to fade, to hit a spot up, or even just ISO after the matchups have been switched. So with a Drew Holiday, can he hit the open shot? Yeah. Is he a threat for that? Not really. It's not his game. Is he diming people for 8 to 9, 10 assists per game? Not really. So like you're relying a lot on his defensive ability, which is great, by the way. I'm not saying he's not an all NBA defender, because he is. It's just I hesitate with it being a perfect fit, because they still are going to have a deficiency at the playmaking side of things, which we saw them struggle with last year.
Yeah, I mean, he had decent stats last year. He's almost 40% shooter, 38.5. That's a decent 3-point shooter. And 7.5 assists a game. So like, I think it's a definite upgrade over what they had previously over Marcus Smart.
Keep this in mind. The pick and roll in Milwaukee is different than the ISO game in Boston. Just that there's two different offenses that are run right there. You're not finding Tatum coming off of 2.5 screens to throw into a corner spot up or pick and roll like you were when he was in Milwaukee. They're not running that type of offense. So like those assists are great, but remember who he had on the other side that he was dishing the ball off to, compared to Brown and Tatum, who are more ISO oriented.
Well, we'll definitely talk some more NBA as the season approaches. I was telling Deep before the podcast, I got that auto renewal notification for the League Pass, so it's coming, people. NBA is only about a month away, which is very exciting. Before we get off this Dame trade, I want you to really quick give each team D a grade, like ABC. You can do plus, minus, whatever. Just don't be that guy who's just like, everyone gets an A or everyone gets a C. Like, let's be litigious about this. Let's start with Portland. What are you going to grade the trade for them?
Portland, I'm going to go with the B. Like I said, I think you made a really good point with the draft picks. I was looking more of like immediate impact, which I think DeAndre Ayton can give. They'll, I believe, flip pieces like Brogdon and Robert to get even more depth for their team, or a potential like third tier star for their, a back end all-star for their team, especially around like the sell days that a lot of teams usually have. Milwaukee.
Can I jump?
Go ahead.
I actually would probably give Portland, and listen, you're going to be like, no way. I give him an A-. And I say that because there was so many criticism of Damian Lillard's age, that contract being going to be bad in a year or two. And also the fact that there was all the leverage was against Portland. Like, it looked so bad for them for months, where they would have to make the trade to Miami. And they ended up by sticking that out and getting a pretty good haul for Lillard, a guy that we all think will be a bad contract in a year or two.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have a bad one. I was going away from plus minus, because I would have been in like that B plus area, which puts you right in the A-.
Yeah, give it plus minus.
Okay. Milwaukee, I'm gonna stick with the consistency. I'm going B. No minus, no plus. I'm going B. Again, I think long term, Band-Aid over a bullet wound if it doesn't work out. Short term, if they flip this into a championship, it is an incredible trade. I think Dame is a great piece. I don't think he's a perfect fit. Based off of like what they actually needed, I think they needed a bigger guard that can play defense to help them out, not an offensive guy. But like, I'm not mad at a 30-point per game score being addition to Giannis, especially where he can hit shots from half court. So that's why I go like that B area.
I'm going to say B as well.
Right on. Phoenix, hate me or not, I don't care what anybody says. I'm going B plus. I really do believe that it's depth. The biggest problem that the Phoenix Suns had is there was nobody that could spill Kevin Durant or Devin Booker last year. Like, what's it called? Chris Paul was a shell of himself, so they got him out of there. I think the addition of Bradley Beal with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Now, I'm not saying that Yusuf Nurkic is going to be like the almighty when it comes to obviously the stopping in the paint, but he can hit he can hit shots, right? He can stretch the floor more than Ayton can. And Grayson Allen, good wing defender, he can hit shots. Keon Johnson, I'm a big fan of his, obviously. But I think they got more depth, so I would give them that B plus, because this is an impact right now and for I'd say 2 or 3 years.
I couldn't disagree more. I was going to go C.
Okay.
I think they downgraded in talent, they upgraded in vibes. I'll give you a C for that.
Fair enough. Last but not least, You can call it hate if you want, but not even hate, but you can say that I'm not hating. I'm going to go with an A for Drew. I'm going to go with an A. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I'm going to go with that. You can give it cheers if you want. I was waiting for it.
It's buried in the
You're
sound.
good. You're good. So the reason why I give that is, like I said, it's a good fit for them. It, like you mentioned, it's a great starting 5 that they have. Drew, Chris Stapps, the Jays, and whoever you throw in there as their 4th. I can't even remember who was their 4th.
I said their probable starting lineup would be Drew, the 2 Jays, Porzingis, and Horford.
Okay, so Horford's a throwaway with that, but I think they still 1 through 4 really good, right? Like great length to help you out with defense. Defense is going to cause a lot of issues. I don't give them an A+ because I think they still need an offensive style playmaker, but we'll see what happens. Obviously,
man, you were not manning the comments well when I was gone. I couldn't see the screen. Hip hop through Pat Bev as on the most hated list. I couldn't see anything. I was just
we were talking, bro. I wasn't paying attention either. You're usually the producer. I forgot you couldn't see.
All I could see was that goddamn graphic because you made me make it big. I would probably give the Celtics a B.
Really?
A trade where it's like we'll see how it works out. I am worried about the lack of depth. If it works out, no one gets hurt significantly. It's a fantastic trade. If Porzingis gets hurt and you're playing Luke Cornett 30 minutes a game, then it's a disaster. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot hinders on players that don't involve Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So that's a little tough. That is a little tough because those are your all NBA players, and if you're basing your team's success off of other players besides them, and not because of performance, like they're still going to be all NBA players, but the health of Porzingis, the depth of the roster don't involve Jason and Jaylen, and that's going to pend the success of the Boston Celtics. That part itself, kind of scary, but we'll see.
Good basketball talk. I love talking NBA, and I'm sure we'll talk more coming forward. By the way, shout out to those watching live, sticking with us. Good show today. Had a fun time. Make sure to check us out tomorrow if you only catch part of the show on podcast, Spotify, Apple. Let's get out of here at the closing takes.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes.
I love closing takes because it's a segment where we don't talk about what we're going to talk about before. So, look, I have no idea where D's going with this. D has no idea where I'm going with this.
Nope.
I want to start off with like kind of a sad one. RIP, former Red Sox legend pitcher Tim Wakefield. I remember I grew up watching a lot of Sox. There was a point in my life, like in high school, where I would watch. It's 162 games a year. I watched, honestly, like 130 games a year, man. It was insane. Every day after school, I'd come home and watch the Sox every night. And Tim Wakefield, for several years, was like my favorite pitcher just because he was a knuckleballer. And the knuckleballers, man, there's something majestic about it. They throw like a 60-mile-per-hour pitch that dives and dips, and it's just so unpredictable. There's nights where he can come out and strike out 12 pitchers. There's nights where Tim Wakefield came out and would give up 12 home runs. It was a roller coaster ride watching him, and it was so much fun. Passed away this past week, age of 57 with brain cancer. Like, that sucks, man. Good dude, stand-up guy, fun guy to watch, knuckleballer, and Red Sox legend. Won a World Series with them. So, R.I.P. Good dude, and thoughts are with his family.
Absolutely. I'll mirror your reflection on him. I really didn't watch baseball, but I did play a lot of baseball video games growing up. And this isn't even just to like joke around, but like I do remember how hard it was to hit the knuckleballer in video games. Like, it was incredible. Didn't really watch as many Red Sox games as I probably should have at Fenway and whatnot while growing up in that area. A big, RIP and big blessings to his family. We hate this type of stuff. I say it every time we end these shows, guys. Please just take care of yourselves. Make sure you get checked. Brain cancer is just it's fuck cancer. I don't want to go too deep into that, but that's essentially what you say when it comes to something like that.
Yeah, a dying breed of pitcher too. I don't think there's any more knuckleballers in the Major League Baseball.
Not true. There's knuckle curves, but there's no like he's just going.
Knuckleballer.
Yeah, there's nobody going out there and just throwing one pitch the whole game. Two pitches. He got fastball in there that was like 80.
The fastball was like not even. I think his fastball was like 73. It was. But hey man, you throw that thing after throwing a 60-mile-per-hour knuckleball, you catch someone off guard.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go a little bit more positive on this end. Try to get us out here on a good note. Just spread some positivity for a kid that is doing absolutely incredible. I want to give a big shout out to Puka Nacua. I think what he's been doing for the past couple of weeks, randomly out of nowhere in the NFL, just shows that like if you just give a kid a shot, like they can prove to be really good. I think he started out, he's a high school recruit out of Utah, so nobody's going to know who the hell he is. He went to the University of Washington for a couple of seasons, then transferred to BYU, ended up going, I don't even think he was drafted. If he was, it was late, like 5th, 6th round, something like 5th round. Cool. Definitely not expected to be anything on a Rams team that we thought was like in shambles, right? Matthew Stafford, we see Cooper Kupp go down, week 1 preseason area. And you're just like, damn, they got nothing. But this kid is on pace to break a ton of records. Like he's up there with Cooper Kupp stats for most catches to start a season. He's up there with Megatron. So I want to give a big shout out to, those underdogs in the world that like, you just prove people wrong. All you need is a chance. And what he's doing is special. I don't think he does much after he catches the ball. He usually goes down, but that's a talk for another day. Give the man his flowers. If you're doing something good, I'm going to try to shout you out, and I think Puka Nacua is doing very well this season.
Well, I think the knock on Puka Nacua coming into the draft was that he's not particularly big, right? And he ran like a 4.6 something 40.
4.57.
Yeah, so like
that's like very slow.
You're not big, you're not fast, but like he just has a craftiness about running routes to get himself open and make catches.
You know who he reminds me of? I think this is spot on. Adam Houghton. You just don't understand how he gets open. Tall, lanky wide receiver, not fast, can't jump, not athletic, but he just gets open. And you're just like, what the hell? How are you catching passes?
Madden, route running ability, 99 right there. That's what it is.
Catch radius, incredible.
He's actually second right now in Rookie of the Year behind CJ Stroud. So
fair enough. Yeah, makes sense.
Good shit. Yeah, and I hip hop with the 5th round. Yeah, I thought it was 5th round. Good shit today, man. I had a fun time talking some swords with you today. Should we get the people out of here?
Yeah, let's get them up out of here.
And before we get out, remember, check out us on podcasts if you're watching live. If you only start part of the show, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're listening on podcasts, the show is better live. So check us out on Twitch, _Frizz5 on Twitch. You can catch us on YouTube, catch us on Facebook, or the website, Frizz and the Grizz, oneword.com.
I appreciate you taking my plug, man. But no, that if you want to do that, that's all you. You make it sound
so much chicken and the mentals and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I was talking about our social media.
All right,
I think you made it sound better. I'll make it sound a little fun, but you made it sound better. So kudos to you.
No. Let's pretend. Hey, I didn't say anything.
I'm not saying it again because I want to make sure that we take care of our people the right way. Please, please, please. Again, we appreciate y'all listening, watching us live, and listening tomorrow when it does get uploaded, obviously, to those platforms. Please, 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 y'all take care of y'all mentals on the rebound. Make sure y'all take care of y'all physicals. I got a little challenge for myself, 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups every day during the work week, Monday through Friday. We ain't trying to do this shit on Saturdays and Sundays. Please make sure y'all take care of y'all chicken, take care of y'all children, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.
Cause y'all were wrong. They got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day.